Hello everyone, before we get into the video, there's just a couple of things that I would highly recommend you check out, as in why we're currently in the fan control speeds for my graphics card. Um, if I have my graphics card set for defaults, uh, especially with the summer coming up, or it's already starting to get warmer. Last summer was not that bad compared to the summer before it. It I had some glass and some plastic in my window, and I was very close to having a fire in my room. Um, I do have double glazing, and that's probably one of the reasons why I was very close to having a fire in my room. Um, Basically, the plastic was turning black, and I was about to set fire, and the reason why we're currently in the graphics card control system is because if we have the whole thing set for default when it comes to temperatures, my graphics card will overheat and quite possibly catch fire. It has been known to happen with the last two, um, also Red Devils, RX 6500 XTs. I had two of them. The first one, I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. I think it was in January, February time. Um, so I got another one, and the same thing happened. Basically, all monitors went completely black, and it was very hard to get the screens back. Now, if you do wind up with a situation where your monitors go black, and it's basically similar to what I've experienced, and what I'm trying to prevent, as well as by showing you guys how I try and prevent it from happening. If you go into your graphics card fan control settings, or the actual drivers, for example, for me, it's the AMD software Adrenaline Edition. Basically, it's the software the graphics card uses to, let's say, as its drivers. So if you right click there and then do open on there, you get this little thing come up. It would normally be in the home bit area over here, where it comes up saying current version, and there's an update. There's another update, so it's going to go back to defaults again if I do that. Now, if it's a graphics card that is 3 to 6 months old, I probably would not recommend doing download and update for the reason which I'm about to explain to you right now. So basically, when it comes to the fan controls and everything else like that, if you set it to default, no matter how hot your graphics card gets, the fans do not turn on. And what happens is when they do not turn on is that your graphics card quite literally fries. And worst case scenario, it catches fire. Now, I don't know if this is a bug in AMD or if it's by design, but it's extremely annoying and extremely expensive. Now, having learned a couple of things about the UK policy when it comes to consumer rights, the manufacturers would not have a leg to stand on had I known what the consumer rights were at the time. And I could definitely get a refund back on it no matter how much they complained, because it's a manufacturing defect. It's either a manufacturing defect on the manufacturer side, or it's a driver issue on the AMD side. Either way, because they're part and parcel of the same thing, manufacturer would not have a leg to stand on, because it's the one or the other that's making it bad and catch fire. The other thing is that I've had a little chat with the manufacturer of the Red Devil graphics cards, not as in a verbal chat, but over the over the course of their forms, and of course that way I have a hard copy. So there are 4 ports on the graphics card. There are 2 HDMI ports and 2 display ports. Sorry, I have to keep trying to remember what that name is. It's basically called a D port or DP port or something like that. And it basically stands for the display port. And there are 2 of each types of ports on the graphics card. Now, anyone that does not know what the manufacturer stands on as to why there are 4 ports on the graphics cards, they would think, oh, that means I can do at least 2, maybe even 4 monitors on the graphics card. However, what turns out to be is that the manufacturer does not support more than 1 monitor per graphics card. I have been told in the past as to why that was, but unfortunately, my brain is acting like a sieve in some areas. So I've forgotten again why that is. But basically, having 2 monitors on the graphics card, i.e., I've got 2 monitors currently on the graphics card. Both of them currently set for 1080p. If I don't do what I've done here with the fan settings, the junction port can be anywhere between 60 and 100 degrees. If it goes up to 95 degrees, both monitors cut out, and let's just say you can smell smoke. So what I quickly do is I hold down the power button to switch off the computer, pull out the cables for the monitors, because if I don't do this, it won't work. Leave the computer for about 5 to 10 minutes, just sitting, cooling itself off. Maybe even have a fan blowing in it to cool it down even faster. But not too fast. You don't want to take the graphics card out and whack it into a fridge or something like that, because you will destroy the graphics card completely. Unfortunately, there is a lot of dampness in fridges and freezers and stuff like that. That's where you get ice build up in certain places. So what you do is you leave it sitting for a bit, cooling itself down. Then you switch on the power. If you've got the PC speaker connected, it will come up with a couple of beeps saying that there is no monitor detected. If that happens, or if it doesn't happen, if it's just coming on and you're not hearing anything, that means your speaker's not connected. Hold down the power button again after about a minute. Then the computer will switch off again by itself. The computers do not like this, by the way. They really do not like this, because it's classed as a hard shutdown. And what you do is you plug the monitors back in, preferably just the one. But if you've got multiple screen displays and some of your icons are on the other screen, then yeah, you will definitely want to have both of them connected again. Then basically what you do is you power it up again, and hopefully your motherboard is not like mine where the mouse and keyboard don't work anymore until you do another restart. Hopefully everything will be working again for you guys quite well. For me, it requires one additional shutdown restart, just so that the keyboard and mouse comes back on. In which case, you just have to tap the power button and it does a shutdown. Don't hold it down, otherwise you'll have another issue again later on. Now, the reason why we're currently in this screen is so that I can walk you through the ideal settings. I know it causes a lot of power consumption if you were to do this, but with summer upon us again, and the media breaking, all hell is breaking loose in the media side, because they're all fear mongering and stuff like that. Just like last year, Last year was not as hot as the year before. The year before it was between 65 and 70 degrees centigrade in my room. Last year it was about 60, 68 at a push during one night in my room. At the moment it's about 25, 30 degrees in my room because of the big window in my room. The window is the same size as what you'd normally have in the downstairs living room or something like that. It's quite big, it's massive, it's double glazing, and it acts like a gigantic magnifying glass. So that's why you don't want to have any glass or plastic in your windows, because it intensifies through the glass and plastic. It melts everything inside and catches fire. So just want to warn you guys, during the summers, remove all plastic and all glass from your windows, just to prevent any fires from occurring. Now, like I said, the reason why we're in this little bit of a setting is because I want to help you guys protect yourself and your computer and your room, your house, from any potential fires that the current, let's say, range of graphics cards, the really expensive ones, can cause, all the damage it can cause. So with the AMD graphics drivers, if you have it set for default, your graphics card is very likely to overheat if you play early access titles, badly optimized titles, and a lot of the new high intensity graphics driven games. So I highly recommend do not use the default settings and go to customize settings, which we're currently in. So if you're in the home, I'm ignoring that at the moment because I don't want to kill the graphics card again. We're going to go to performance. We're going to go to tuning. Then we've got custom open. Now to get the settings similar to what I've got here, which is pretty extreme, I do have to admit, but it's the only way to prevent a fire in my room. So what you do is you go to fan tuning. If you've got the AMD one, I'm not sure about GeForce, but it should be something similar to it. You go to fan tuning. This 0 RPM, I don't think everyone's got it, but it is a pain in the rear end. Do disable on that, then hit apply. It will be up here. Then you can go to advanced control, enable that, and you'll get this bit come up over here. You could turn power tuning up to full as well, but it wastes a lot of electricity. So if you just wanted to just go for a reasonable curve, even though it is pretty extreme, and it is basically just to save the graphics card and computer and your room and eventually your house as well. If you want to set these points to a fine degree and similar to what I've currently got, go to this bit here where it says fine tuning controls. Then we have here the fan speeds as well as the temperatures. So if the temperature on the graphics card is 30 degrees, the fan speed is currently set for 35 RPM, or 35% of the maximum speed. If it's 35 degrees, it will go at 45%. If it hits 40 degrees, it will be 60%. If it hits 45 degrees C, it goes up to 80% max speed of the the speed on the fans. If it hits 55 degrees, it goes straight up to 100%. Now, the reason for this is quite literally to cool the graphics card down, because I've noticed with a lot of games like Conan, which killed two of the graphics cards, Scum, heck, even the Power Director software, which I use to edit the videos. I highly recommend basically going through these settings and doing something similar to this. I know what I've got is pretty extreme, but it's the only way to stop a fire from coming out of my computer. I cannot afford multiple cards. Not to mention, I have a sound card very close to where the second graphics card would normally slot into. Also, I don't know how to set up the Crossfire exactly. I know you can plug in the second one. You have to use the ribbon cable if you have the ribbon cable. Attach them together, but I don't know how you do the whole setup thing. If it's nice and straightforward, like plug and play or anything like that. Basically, I cannot afford another £900 to £1,200 for another graphics card just to have split screen. So I know I run the risk of having some issues in the future when it comes to the junction temperature. Hence why the aggressive fan speed policy that I have. So with that said, I hope that you guys are a little bit wary for the upcoming future when it comes to fan speeds and graphics card issues. On that subject also, if you're removing them, be very careful when you're removing them, not to crack pieces of the board itself. There is a hook that holds the graphics card in. Even if you can press down the button very all the way through, be very, very gentle when you try to remove the graphics card to prevent it from being cracked. If your graphics card cracks at any location on that board, it will not work, and the manufacturer will definitely not cover it, even if it's a manufacturing defect. So with that said, hope that you guys are a little bit more informed as to potential issues coming up this summer. Don't listen too much about to the fearmongers on the news and everything else about temperatures. They're pulling the let's say the heat map out of their rear end, because all those temperatures are the same as the year. Well, most of the temperatures are the same as the year before that, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that. It's all normal temperatures. In the UK, you can look between 20 to 40 degrees, maybe 45 degrees outside. If you're lucky, and I do say if you're lucky, you can expect that temperature. Now, if you're in somewhere like maybe Egypt on the equator or something like that, then yes, during the day you'll have temperatures between 35 and 60 degrees outside. Not indoors. Indoors would probably be a lot higher if you don't have aircon. Basically, something that I remember from when I was a kid in Egypt. We lived over there for 2 years, and I got out of the swimming pool with my bare feet on one of the concrete slabs and burnt my feet, so I dived straight back into the pool. And that was, what looked like a half a football swimming pool, very close to the pyramids, very close to the three pyramids. Basically a little hotel or something or other. I can't really remember that much from Egypt, but I do remember burning my foot on the tile. A tennis court very close by, a big yellow wall, and lots of mosquitoes. I mean, lots of mosquitoes. there is something else that I remember from Egypt, which has got me a very bad case of PTSD, and I would not recommend that to anyone. But that said, I was between 6 and 8 years old at the time. Um, so that's going to be one of those things that I just have to live with. I'm not going to pull it up on this channel because there will be a lot of lots of issues. I might wind up with an issue with the NHS underneath it and bloody bloody blah. So I'm not going to go into those details. But let's say put me off with jabs for life. But that said, I'm going to leave you guys here with whatever video is coming up. I'm sorry, but that this little speech has taken 20 minutes, so I might just have this as a separate little thing. I have had a couple of false copyright claims from various organizations. One of the continuous ones seems to be WMG. That one's a new one, Root Note. And there's a couple of others. This is the Human Rights Act, by the way. Yeah, and then there are also, of course, the games that are about to come up. I tried Farming Simulator 2020 with my never used steering wheel, never before used steering wheel, and the steering wheel does not work. So apparently, it could be faulty for the last 6 months, ever since I purchased it. I had a lot of issues with Farming Simulator 2020 where I couldn't connect to the server that everyone were playing on in the US. So there seems to be an issue there, and having purchased all of the DLC for roughly £90, it left me a bit pissed. Now it does take a lot to piss me off, but that definitely did it. So I will not be playing Farming Simulator 2020, and I'm going to have to see if the wheel works with American Truck, Euro Truck, and all the others to actually see if the wheel works. Because if the wheel doesn't work, that means that I've got a £200 piece of junk attached to my desk, and yeah, I'll have to open it up and try and figure out what the hell's going on there. So with that said, I've already voided the warranty on it because I removed the piece of rubber that was blocking the brake pedal from going down far enough. I was almost breaking my foot to hit down on the brake pedal to push it down all the way. And it just wouldn't budge. So I opened it up to find that there was a loose piece of rubber preventing it from being pushed down all the way. So I removed that, and of course, doing so, I voided the warranty on it anyway. So even if people say just do a refund on the wheel, yeah, that's not going to happen because I've already voided the warranty on the pedals. But that said, I hope that you guys have found this little video informative. Hope to see you guys in one of the upcoming videos. This one over here looks very promising. The Magical Mixture Mill. It had a very catchy tune in the intro of the on the Steam store. So I hope that that's going to be a good one for the channel. I hope that you guys will like it. There are a couple of nice little survival games coming up, and hope that you guys enjoy the upcoming videos and live streams. I'm hoping to get a live stream up soon. The only problem is I don't know on which game I'm going to do it yet. So with that said, I'm going to leave you guys here for the moment. Hope that you guys found this little video informative, and hope to see you guys in one of the upcoming games.